Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad. My name is Austin.
And my name is Patrick.
And guys, welcome back to our show.
Yeah, we got AVT and PAT. They talking about young Americans overseas. We got McKinney, Pulisic, Reina, and Dest. Got that red, white, and blue. USA on the crest from England, Germany, from Belgium to Spain. Racking up all the medals on the trophy train. Got one thing on their mind, with skill and some luck. One day we can say we will win the World Cup.
Well, guys, we are so excited to be back with you today. And Pat, obviously the big topic we want to talk about is the transfer deadline day. And we had some, USMNT players move right at the end of the window.
Yeah, some exciting moves last minute. Everybody trying to lock in that spot for Qatar and just get in the right form, as well as just players picking up where they left off, like you said, Austin, continue the momentum. It's exciting here and kind of holding our breaths, right, for injuries and everything like that, but also really excited to see our guys make those moves and really kind of trust in themselves to feel confident in those decisions and get playing time.
Yeah, and I feel like honestly, each summer, as we go throughout the years here on I feel like each summer gets better and better, right? This year you saw so many different moves that kind of push, people into those positions to try and rally for a spot to Qatar, or try to compete for a spot to Qatar. And like you said too, those players, once they're in those positions, right? We had, Falarin Balogun this weekend continue his scoring streak. So, he's trying to make the most of his move, and, some other players as well this week that really just, again, are trying to play their way onto that plane. And I feel like it's just really kind of been one of those important summers, right? I feel like every year we say, this summer is super important for our players, but I honestly think this one's been, the best yet. And maybe I'm a little bit biased.
Something is in the air, Austin. Just the team, the quality of talent we have, the dual nats, the other perspectives, everything coming into this World Cup and just leading, forward. Everyone wants to be a part of this group. And it just feels so different even than past World Cups. I'm so excited, and I know the players all are.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so many players are maybe more motivated than in the past,
Absolutely.
which we haven't seen in a while, right? I feel like 2010, maybe you could, draw some comparisons with players trying to, make their own move and really kind of, take risks to get on that roster. So yeah, I couldn't say anything different, Pat. So I think with that, let's get right into our episode today. And I'm going to start off with, honestly, maybe the move of the transfer window. And again, maybe I'm a bit biased in that.
Let's hear it.
But that's Ricardo Pepi going on loan to FC Groningen. So obviously, if you haven't been, keeping up with Ricardo Pepi, things have not worked out so well since that move to Augsburg last year. And, to start the season, right, in preseason, he got some good playing time, scored some goals in some preseason friendlies. But ever since the Bundesliga season started, he's really been that afterthought on their team. He's gotten some minutes, throughout the first 4 games or so there, but he's really kind of been that striker on the outside looking in. And that was something concerning to us, right, Pat? We talked about a situation a few times already this season on And we both kind of felt like, maybe Augsburg isn't the place for him right now. And as a team, right, they're not doing so hot, right? Bottom 3 of the Bundesliga. And they're really just kind of struggling to show any semblance of a team. So I really thought this was a really important move for Ricardo Pepi's career. Again, going on loan to the Eredivisie, right? A league that we've seen some of our players thrive in, right? We've seen Luca de la Torre, play well there to get a move to La Liga. We've seen some other players in the past too, right? Josie Altidore, who really took well to the Eredivisie, Aaron Johansson, and even, Richie Ledesma has kind of come along and charted his path as well, with Serginho Dest too. That's another player. So yeah. I just think, again, when you look at Ricardo Pepi and the skills he offers, right, he's a striker who's got, good technical ability, someone who can track back and, combine in midfield, and also has the presence up top to kind of, score with his body as well. And some ways as a poacher. So I really just think he's going to be able to, use this situation he's in, right? And the talent he has, right, to kind of reset things a little bit in Europe, kind of find his groove again. Because again, I think a lot of his struggles this year and last year were more mental, right? Kind of in the same vein as Josh Sargent, which now you see his confidence is back and he's killing it. So I think because of all the talent he has and the fact that, again, this is just a different situation in a league that really, I feel like he'll be able to excel as a striker. I think this is a fantastic move, Pat, personally.
Couldn't agree more. And unfortunately, you can, interesting point you made, see the correlation with Sarge and the Pepi path, right, in terms of the clubs they chose and maybe setting them back mentally and even game, right, getting game time. And that's something that's really crucial in a young player being able to make a move to Europe like that and having success, right, the youth levels or even MLS or, other leagues and making a jump like that and then not getting the playing time and just shooting down confidence. So it's great to see him make this transition pivot. So glad whoever his agent is, right, to kind of get him partially out of this mess and just a great place to be in terms of, like you said, the league, the style there of play for Groningen, as well as, again, very solid teams he'll be going up against, tactically strong and being able to work through those and just the playing time is crucial. That's what he needs. He needs chances. He needs service. He was not getting that in the black hole I call Augsburg. And yeah, just, again, not to harp on everything you said, but I agree with all those points. And maybe we're talking once he gets registered, things are good to go. End of the month here, he's right back in the top 2 or 3 conversation here.
Yeah, and I think the point I'm trying to make too about again, going to a league that really helps grow those younger attackers, right? We've seen a lot of, attacking players come through their Eredivisie. And again, Groningen has some history with that too, right? They had Luis Suarez back in the day. They had Arjen Robben come through their, ranks as well. Yeah, definitely goats and players that, again, took advantage of their opportunity. And I think that's what's really exciting to me about this move is that he's just going to go to a place where he's going to be the guy again, right? Kind of like FC Dallas, where, he was able to come through and cement himself as the, main, striker for that team. And I think being that here in a league, again, where I think his physical assets and his technical ability is going to really help him stand out amongst the other players on his team and in, that league that he's going up against. I just really think, this move, even though it's a step down, I think it's just the right move at the right time. And kind of like you said, Pat, it's going to hopefully help him challenge for a spot at Qatar, which, again, we've seen so many other players this summer put themselves in position to do that, right? And really take advantage of those opportunities. And I think this was the perfect move for Pepi to do just that.
Yeah, and just him seeing, right, he was the guy. Yeah, he got great. He really kind of saved Greg, honestly.
Yeah, he helped us so much, man.
Yeah, helped us so much. Huge move, right? I mean, we don't know circumstances, right? That's a lot of money. It's going to the Bundesliga. There might be other reasons, right? So can understand why it's hard to pass up, right? And just maybe being able to work through that. But it is a black hole situation. Like you said, maybe not a little bit of a step down, but still the right step. The only other thing, too, I was going to mention in terms of playing time and things like that, right? Austin, they gave him the number 9 jersey. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, that says something, that number isn't just given out. You see what Tillman's wearing and other players, right, that have gone on loans or other moves. So, yeah, this is it. I think this is the right choice and kind of make or break at this point if you can get onto Qatar and put up some great performances here.
Yeah, and I really have no doubt in my mind, and maybe I'm too confident in his ability, but I don't see this as a reality of him failing at this club. I really just think this is, again, kind of a home run move, and that's why I'm so excited about it. I just think Pepi's shown us that he has so much talent, right, and so much quality. I don't think he's going to be one of these players that is kind of a failed story, right, or someone who kind of busts. I really think he's going to take advantage of this opportunity and make this make his career his own, right, and kind of chart his own path in Europe. So I got a prediction for you, Pat. I kind of want to end this on a prediction. So again, I'm all for this move. I can't say it enough. I really think he should look to score, again, going bold here, 12 to 15 goals in the Eredivisie this year. I think double digits is great, right? 10 goals would be awesome. I think he should go for 15 personally. I really think that, again, just his level of play, and I think the quality he has, I think he can definitely get 15 goals in the Eredivisie. Boom,
I like it. Well, I like it. The realist in me says maybe like 8 to 10 for the situation, but I love it. I'll hop on board with that with you. I'll climb that hill. Unlike another hill that we'll get into, but I'm with you. I think
the show will be full of bold predictions, Pat, mostly on my end. So
I want to hear your thoughts too in the comments. So let us know how many goals Pepi will have here in Eredivisie. So good luck to him. But I know we have another important move that we have to discuss and get to, and that's Serginho Dest, Austin.
Yeah,
going to AC Milan with a loan with a buy option around I think it's 20 million or so, and it's not mandatory. But Dest could sign, right, if things go well there, until 2027. So that's that 4-year deal. So Milan's really banking that he's going to make an impact, and that's somebody again that they can trust to bring in, for the long haul. Interesting, right? Because it seemed like Dest only wanted to move to a top level club. We heard Man United for reasons, right, with Ten Hag and some of the other links. Ten Hag, excuse me. And then Villarreal too, which was interesting. I think we can certainly get into that. That would have been also a pretty good move, in my opinion. But I like this AC Milan move. I think he's really betting it on himself. It's a Serie A champions, right? Champions League football here, a club that's really has some great history behind them. And it seems like they're, and you brought off camera, which is before we started filming here, but it seems like their financial disarray and just on the field performances, the bad performances are kind of over in the past. They've really turned a leaf in a corner. It seemed like they're kind of getting back to that stature, right, that they once had. So, yeah, I like it. But I want to get your thoughts on the move.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that he's not at Barcelona right now, I think is a win. So the fact that he's at a team that's competing for, a Serie A title this year, yeah, I think it's a home run. I really do. And like you said, he's probably not going to be a starter from day one, but I think the opportunity is there for him to, find his way into the starting lineup by the end of the season. I don't think things are so settled there where, he's never going to get an opportunity to kind of try to be the guy. But yeah, I think, I was so worried a week ago. I think I shared this even in our, our fantasy draft episode, which if you haven't checked it out yet, great episode with us and Justin Moran and Jay Hernandez from, the Twitter sphere. So go check that out. It was a lot of fun.
Do that again.
But yeah, it was so much fun. But my struggle with Serginho and projecting out, for the 2022 World Cup is if he was at Barcelona and not getting playing time, I mean, I was going to be super worried about where he was going to be at form-wise for Qatar. So the fact that he's not just, riding the bench and not even getting onto the bench anymore is a breath of fresh air. And I think, AC Milan is a fantastic team, a perfect team to go to.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that just getting out of Barca. That was the next point. So that's and not being in that strange basement where he was training. Seemed like he was in the Barca dungeon or something.
Yeah.
So that was I'm so happy he's out of that. And yeah, in terms of playing time, right, in the competition, we can get into that. Obviously, a left back, they have Tio, right, Hernandez, who's unreal. He's awesome.
He stepped his game up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's really improved. And then you have Calabria, right, the Milan captain, 25-year-old Italian international, right, pretty strong right back option that they have. Now, what is unique, obviously, Dest being able to play left or right. The left side, aside from Tio, they don't really have great backup trustworthy options. From what I've been reading and diving into kind of Milan, online there in the Twitter space and things like that, it seems like he could really push for a backup spot there. And then the right, obviously, with Florenzi, the 31-year-old, being injured. Somebody who's, again, has some veteran experience, but I think maybe they're projecting Dest to kind of slot in to that backup, right or left, and have some significant playing time. Because with this World Cup cycle and the schedules, I mean, Milan has Champions League. We're filming this on Monday, tomorrow, and then the weekend already. This past few days ago, they just had their weekend games, the big derby, right?
Right.
Against Inter, and then you follow Coppa Italia, everything else going on. It is an onslaught for all of these players. And if you don't have depth pieces, it's going to be a huge issue for clubs across the world in Europe. So I love it. I think he's going to get playing time. He's not going to start like we've talked about day in and day out, but he can certainly put himself in the best position to maybe win a spot or, have that flexibility left or right, and hopefully they don't deploy him farther up the pitch from the right side for his attacking prowess. But yeah, Austin, the last thing I'll just mention is I think being in a league with Serie A, defensive improvements there. It's a really defensively sound league. He can work on that side of his game. I think that's fantastic leading up to Qatar because we know what he can do offensively, but it's on the other side. And what would worry me is all the attackers England have, or even the counters against that Wales and Iran will deploy. Can Dest handle that defensively? So I think this is a great spot for him to really improve before Qatar.
Yeah, and I think, just thinking about Barcelona as well, like I think there's better leadership at Milan right now. They're just, and it's tough to say that, right? Because like Xavi, you think is a good leader and, a good coach, but clearly he didn't favor Dest. And, they have some other players on the team that he could learn from, but I just think the environment's better at Milan. And I don't know. I think, we talk about these players this summer going to different situations, right? Some of these players moving on and challenging themselves in different situations to kind of, make that roster, right? And I think this is no different with Sergiño Dest, right? Nothing in this move is going to be promised to him. It's all going to be him earning, the opportunities at Milan and showing that he deserves to play, which again, I think is going to push him to be his best form of himself, right? Like, the times when we've seen Sergiño play the best is when he's been motivated, right? It's those times where he's coming into camp and going up against some of the better opponents, right? Against Mexico, where he's trying to show out and, do some of his tricks and skills. And the times where he hasn't been so hot is when, he's not been motivated, right? And he's kind of been just coming into camp, understanding that he's, our starting right back by
running through the motions.
Yeah, kind of going through the motions a little bit. And I think this move is really going to push him to, find himself again, right? And show that, he has all those talents that we've seen with him making the move to Barca. So, yeah, I love the move, Pat. And I think you explained it perfectly of, hopefully what we're expecting from him. Now I want to pivot to, again, player that, a lot of different opinions are going around about.
Here it is, Austin. Are you proving us wrong?
Yeah. And I was going to say, he's not necessarily a young American abroad, but he is an American abroad. So we feel like we must cover him today. And that's John Brooks. So John Brooks obviously has been waiting all summer for his move, right? Was out of contract with Wolfsburg, at the turn of the new fiscal year in July. We heard some different rumors about different clubs, right? At one point, we all thought he was going to Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And, we also heard Mallorca for the last few days. He was actually in Mallorca the last few days of the transfer window trying to work out a move there to La Liga. But turns out he's going to Benfica. Was signed there in the last, day or two of the transfer window. And honestly, Pat, I think it's a brilliant move. Like, I don't know if he's, was confident that he was going to get a move like this, but I think the fact that he took a chance and waited as long as he did, I think he needs to get some props for that because Benfica, again, upon first glance and looking at some of the storylines with their season and kind of where they're at, I think this move makes a lot of sense. They're a team that's obviously going to be challenging for the title there in Portugal. They're in Champions League this year, so John Brooks is going to be able to have an opportunity to take part in playing in Europe once again. And again, some of the, and doing some of my research and looking into this team, and I'm curious to see when they play tomorrow, kind of how they play. But you hear that they play with a high line, right? Similar to what the USMNT play with. And obviously they're a team that plays with a lot of possession. So it really should be a good foil or a good measuring stick for whether or not John Brooks is, again, up to the level to play, for us in a similar position, playing a similar style to what we play. So yeah, Pat, I'm through the moon. I'm Team Brooks all the way, as you guys know from now on. So I think this move plays perfectly into my point.
See, guys, I'm looking up at us on the hill. I was not even looking up before, but now I'm intrigued. Do I climb up there? It might be too late for me. I've been negative. So no, Austin, I agree. Fantastic move. Again, something I didn't see coming with just laugh. I don't know. I thought things were just doomed and unreal. I don't know what went behind the scenes. I'd love to see like a documentary behind the scenes, kind of with the agents and the transfer deadline scrambles and Brooks at these various airports. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, this is it. I mean, Greg specifically wanted to see him in that high line, like you said, and this is it. This is his chance, and he's getting to play at a place that dominates the league, Champions League football. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a match made in heaven. Now, obviously, maybe he's not that coming to be the number one center back, but there's going to be plenty of options. Again, similar scenario to all these players. There's such a strong rotation of games here, and especially if you're in a European competition, there's no way he's not going to see the field.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So looking at, Benfica's roster a little bit, they have some other options at center back. They also have some options that are injured right now. They've been playing some of their younger guys. So I don't know if, again, it's them believing in their younger guys or if they're kind of, playing by default due to some of their injuries. But yeah, it's not going to be easy for John Brooks to kind of get that playing time right away. I think he's definitely one of the center backs that they're going to play this year. But I think really kind of jury's out, right? Nicholas Otamendi is at the club, but he's now 34. He's kind of the only recognizable name from that list. They also have, I think, Andre Almeida, who's kind of been bounced around Portugal and Europe a little bit. So, yeah, I think, again, it's an opportunity, right? We just talked about it with Serginho Dest. And,
right.
Just being in a position where he's going to be able to get that chance to make a name for himself again, or just get that opportunity to contribute again and thrust himself into the plans for Greg Berhalter. So, yeah, I don't think, and I said this to you off camera, I don't know if he's going to make the roster for September. I really think, they have some games coming up here. He didn't play over the weekend. Obviously that move kind of happened late. So we'll see what happens this week. If he gets some game time, I think it really is a good omen for the September camp. But I said to you, Pat, I don't know if John Brooks making the roster is going to be more narrative on John Brooks versus a narrative on kind of the center back situation as it currently stands, right? Because there's some other question marks out there, right? Eric Palmer-Brown hasn't been having the same level of season, I would say, that he had last year. Some of the, MLS center backs, right, haven't been doing so hot. Like Aaron Long's had a lot of criticism this year. Walker Zimmerman's been playing fine, but, no Miles Robinson either. So, I don't know. I've always been under the impression that I think John Brooks is going to make the roster because of the lack of other options. But, maybe this is his opportunity to kind of, take his destiny into his own hands.
Yeah, I think that's exactly well said. Having that destiny in his own hands, and we'll see. There's so much time. Again, you think it's coming up, but there's still a lot of. I mean, you could count a handful of games before. Even at September camp to be the really obviously making that roster. And maybe he doesn't get on that September camp. I'd be really curious to see as that comes out here. It's early September here right after Labor Day, but I don't know. Are you thinking he'll be invited?
To Qatar or the September roster?
September roster.
I think it hinges on this week and if he makes his debut. I think if he starts strong in Portugal, then again, some of these other players, right, have kind of come back from the dead, right? Josh Sargent, has been, not with the team since 2021. And
you've seen in the past, Austin, like a lot of players in past World Cup teams, sorry to interrupt you there, like weren't part of qualifying at all and make past rosters.
Yeah, it's so true.
Scenarios, if you're playing well.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, if there was something more that we don't know, but performance-wise, high line, Brooks plays well. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? We don't really know exactly what the reason was because, we've seen other players still get called up for bad play, right? Like Greg has his choices, right? So, some of that I think is accurate where, he doesn't necessarily fit the style or didn't, play well in the style that Greg wants. But I think, there's a little bit more there to it. So, yeah, but I think, again, when you're coming down to making these tough decisions, right? Like, I think Greg Berhalter is going to evaluate all the different, scenarios, right? Or the details surrounding each decision, right? And, we've seen coaches in the past make really tough decisions that maybe go against the narrative, right? And the one that really comes to mind is Jurgen Klinsmann leaving off Landon Donovan, right? Like,
oh yeah,
everyone thought he was going to get called up. Final World Cup was going to, I think, reach his 5th World Cup maybe, which was going to be I don't know if it was going to be a record, but he was going to be one of the most capped players at the World Cup. And that was going to be significant and obviously finish his career hopefully on a high. We thought he could help the team too, right? With what we were kind of lacking at that point in 2014. And, Jurgen chose to leave him off for maybe Julian Green, maybe, another player on the team, as well. So, yeah, I think anything could happen, right? I think Valerian Balogun, right? A player we'll talk about in quick kicks a little bit later on. Like he's someone that right now I feel like no one's really strongly thinking about for the striker position, but the way he's been playing, the way that Greg wants our team to play, maybe he could, add something to this team. And I just don't think it's as cut and dry as, no, he's not going to be there. Right. That's just my pitch. I'm still on that hill, Pat. So
I like it. I like the confidence on the hill. And I think that's in terms of just, performance, right? And you mentioned Balogun, which we'll get into. But before that, I know it's switching a little bit away from the transfer portion, but we have to talk about, right, being the weekly report that we are, right, our YouTube show. We have to talk about Yunus Musah before we dive into the quick kicks and takes. He's another player who actually looks like today and yesterday have been rumored that Milan's watching him for the future. So we'll see. This is setting up, again, to be Musah's year, Musah's World Cup, Musah's time. And he really showed out for Greg Berhalter, who was visiting and scouting, and I don't know if scouting is the right word, but just, again, monitoring and going to all the other USMNT players' games in Europe. So, yeah, he killed against Getafe, and Valencia just kind of ran rampant. Perfect showing there. Musah got his first 2 assists there of the season. And to start it off, Austin, 13th minute, is at the top of the box outside the 18. Beautifully weighted pass, chip over the backline defense to a awesome volley. I think it was Lino there, who was on loan from Atletico Madrid, who banged it home. That was a beautiful assist by Musah, beautiful finish. And then, again, the second one to Hiro Duro there, where it was a typical Musah-esque shielding of the ball, wiggling free from the defender, and then slotting a nice through ball on the ground. Great vision into knowing where the runner was going to make that outlet into a nice calm finish. So he really showed kind of that next level and what he could do, making more of an impact in the final third. Assists. He was robbed of that goal earlier, but we know all the great tangibles and strength and ball shielding, winning that Musah can have, or Musah does have. But seeing these assists and the vision, that just makes you really excited from a USMNT perspective. So, Austin, what did you think of his performance over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great, right? Obviously, producing in the final third is kind of the last step of his game that I feel like he's, still working on, right? He's really good at winning the ball back. He's really good at even keeping ball in possession and advancing possession, but finishing in the final third, whether it's, creating or scoring, I think is still something he kind of struggles with, right? And maybe that's not his role with his club team or even with us, but I definitely think he's, talented enough to add that to his game. So yeah, seeing, his 2 assist game this weekend and kind of seeing some of the highlights with it, I was really excited. And I think this year he's taken that next step at his club, right? And obviously step 1 was just being played more as a central midfielder, right? And that's what Gattuso has him doing this year. So I think, the sky's the limit, Pat. You were actually saying off camera that you think, there's a chance he could be our best player going into 2026. And I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, and not to project out, right? But yeah, he just, what we've seen from a USMT, even when he wasn't getting the starts that he was with Gattuso, right? Before this season at Valencia, what he's offering from the USMT perspective, and now seeing it translate over to the club and seeing the recognition, right? Milan and other clubs probably monitoring him and his growth and seeing him, like you said, improve in the final third. If he continues that up, he's only 19, Austin, and this World Cup in front of him, and now getting the starting job. Valencia's brought in like 10 or 11 people on loan or transfers, right? Fully in that they're really revamping that team to kind of get them back to where they were in that stature. He's in a really good position where I could see maybe another move here in the future. Let's just get him some game time, some starts here, maybe the next 1, 2, or even 3 years. And then, after that tier, maybe he can get to that elite 4 or 5 club. I think he has the toolkit, right? the all the skill sets, the attributes that you can see in top players, and just kind of refining some things, being a little bit more clinical, cleaning up on some of his mistakes and impacting one of the final third. And hey, maybe that's not his role, right? But he has that mobility in our midfield to flex into those different 8s or 6s, and get up the pitch and really drive and break lines, through his dribbling and passing to take us to that next level. So yeah, I would bet, I would put a lot of my eggs in that Musah basket, Austin.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. And that's, kind of why we've, been so excited about him, right? We're just thrilled the fact that we were able to win him over from England, I feel is, such a big statement from our program. And yeah, honestly, a player that, again, chose us for a reason and chose us because he wants to play the style we're playing and play with the players we have. So yeah, I'm really excited, Pat. I said over the summer that, Atletico Madrid could make a lot of sense in the future.
Ooh,
I would love to see him kind of stay in Spain and kind of climb the ladder there. But yeah, we'll leave the future for the future. We've got plenty of time to watch and admire Yunus Musah. So now I think with that, we're going to head over to quick kicks.
And to start off quick kicks, guys, I got 2 for you. And one being the Old Firm derby there. Triple G in attendance, Austin.
Busy weekend.
Busy weekend. He was in paradise, right? At Salt Lake Park. So, yeah, 3 Americans. You had 2 in Rangers with Tillman and Sands, and then CCV, who definitely got the better of them, right? And probably made Tillman or Sands pay for the bill at dinner after that tough derby domination. CCV has looked the part, not only in this game, but with Celtic so far. We're filming this on Monday, but he has a huge test against Real Madrid in the Champions League. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this game, pure dominance, the crowd atmosphere, everything was all Celtic's favor from the get-go. And so Sands had a really tough time of it. He had some good moments, but also some nervy moments where it wasn't just him, but the whole collective back was at fault. And they never could get a handle of the game. Malik Tillman was one of the higher-rated players on the pitch, but was subbed kind of early off in the second half. Really just not the day for any attackers for Rangers. Again, just overworked by the Celtic players that were pushed on by the crowd and maybe get one back at Ibrox. But, yeah, not their day, Austin.
Gotcha. And what was your second one?
Yeah, my second one here is going to be kind of an injury concern with Anthony Robinson. Non-contact injury against Tottenham there. I think with his ankle there, went to plant that foot, receiving a pass, and just went down. And that's a huge concern. He posted something on Instagram about it. And again, we're filming this Labor Day on Monday. There should be some news coming out in the next day or two on what the diagnosis is and what the timetable is. That's going to be important, right? From USMNT perspective. We're all holding our breaths here for our players. And gosh, we thought we had that left back, not even concerned. And now with his injury, you're starting to think about our other options and just get well, Anthony. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. And yeah, we'll just kind of have to keep you guys posted on that.
Yeah, you texted me that over the weekend because I was watching the Leeds game at an event, and yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh no!"
I know.
But yeah, we're hoping for the best, and hopefully we'll hear more this week. So I have 2 quick kicks today as well. The first one is Josh Sargent, kind of picked up where he left off last week, right? Goal and an assist for Norwich City in their win this weekend. Really nice, unselfish assist, just kind of laying it off for the other player there, and then also, another finish in the box, right? That's kind of how his goal came about, and just being in the right place at the right time. And yeah, you just really see how that confidence, right? He's just playing so comfortable now. I was able to actually watch some of the extended highlights of this game, and he just looks so confident, comfortable in himself now. And I really think, again, when you look at how he fits into Greg Berhalter's system, I just think he's a home run, right? If he's playing at his best, which he is right now, then I think, yeah, it's tough to not start him for Greg Berhalter based on everything he offers. So
perfect timing, Austin. Perfect timing.
Yeah, he's really hit his stride at the perfect time to make this World Cup roster. And another player who's kind of jumped onto the radar as well. Again, somewhat of a dark horse, but someone I think has a lot of a lot of chance, to be completely honest, and that's Valerian Balogun. So scored again for Rem in Ligue 1 this weekend. Now is third. Well, I guess was always third, but now is, still third after 4 or 5 weeks now in the Ligue 1 Golden Boot race behind Mbappe and Neymar with 5 goals. So yeah, I mean that's insane to even talk about an American player kind of trailing closely behind those two. So yeah, I mean he's really looked the part this year. He's really kind of grown into his own at Rem there, and you've seen him take players on, right? He's kind of been pushed outside at times. He's also played as a striker primarily. That's kind of where this goal came from. He's taking penalties for the team as well. So he's really just, again, another player who's been put in a situation, right, and taking advantage of that opportunity. So I'm really excited for everything he's shown us this season. And that's all for episode today, guys. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel down below.
Don't forget, guys, Instagram, Twitter, always putting out that fantastic content for you as we get closer to the World Cup.
That's right. And we also have this episode available in podcast form on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So go find us there, follow, and leave us a review. Every review helps. So yeah, Pat, another awesome end to the transfer window, right? We've got a lot of players in great positions, all kind of leading to, what's coming up later this year.
Yeah, right. And before I pass it back to you, right, to kind of end us with that statement there, because it's going to happen. Yeah, just kind of relieving, right? The last minute deadline moves and players putting themselves in the right positions, players getting into form. It feels like things are aligning. I'm knocking on wood over here, but what a relief, right, at the deadline to see some of those players, those fringe players, put themselves back in contention.
Yeah, and that's something that we haven't seen in the past, right? We've seen some players kind of stick it out in their environments and maybe not take the risks, where maybe it was a better option. So, right. Yeah, I think that's really positive. And like you said earlier in the episode too, like we're in such a different place than we've ever been with USMNT, right? Even in the lead up to 2014, Jurgen Klinsmann was not having to make the level of decisions that Greg Berhalter is going to have to make this time around. And, obviously not in 2018 throughout that whole World Cup qualifying cycle, but, even 2010, right? I talked about that being kind of the last time where there was so many players, performing at their club teams where, it made it difficult. I don't even think that time period kind of rivals where we're at now. So
with the talent, Austin, what are you alluding to?
Oh, that is one day we will win the World Cup.